most recent bit of inspiration that I got, we went to the Andre 3000 concert in New Mexico. This time we got to do the pre-show Q&A, and my question to him was, being an artist who I would think is a perfectionist, how do you get over the idea of perfectionism and decide when a project is finished and ready to be released? And the first thing he said was getting other people involved. Don't overthink the work. I was telling him I have a tendency to overthink stuff, and he was like, when you do have other people involved, everybody just wants to see it get done, and so that energy drives the project to completion.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the movie starring Gene Wilder, presented in Technicolor. Woo!
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? I think I'm going to keep that in there because I like that. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Creative Mind. Again, I am your host, Byron Craig, and I am here today joined by a creative. He is a musical artist. He's created and collaborated on songs with Ginsu Dean, Sean Price, and multitudinous more. I give to you and introduce to you, dropping knowledge here in The Creative Mind for you and yours, friend and my brother, 730. What's up, man?
What it is? What's up, man?
Oh, you got it, bro. All the way live from Mississippi.
Yes, sir. Back out here in the SIP.
In the SIP. But I knew him when he was here in D-Town, Triple D.
Yep. Spent a long time in Dallas.
Dude,
in a Triple D.
Always, man.
In the DF of Dub. Yes, sir. Yeah,
this is home.
I'm actually due for a trip out there because my the studio is actually the studio I work out of is still in Fort Worth. Like I do my own like recording, but then like the mixing, all that stuff like that, or anything live, that's in Fort Worth. So I'm due for a trip anyway.
So that means we got new music on the way.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I like it. Oh, I also forgot to mention, you are a podcast host as well.
Yeah. We have a podcast. What we talking about this time? That's literally the name of the podcast. And we talk about we do a lot of movie roasts, like we do a lot of bad movies. We do a whole section for Tubi movies and all kind of stuff, and talk about like relevant, like the newer stuff or whatever, TV series and stuff. So yeah, check it out.
My favorite, absolutely, we gotta check it out. My favorite Tubi movies are the absolute trash Tubi movies. Like I think I might have sent you that clip of that one where it's got like the fat Jesus and she's like, "Who is this? Not my Lord, not my Lord."
Oh, I don't know if you sent me that one, but I think you did send me. You sent me a clip of one that was like the lady walks in the room, and it's a dude, another lady, and like a little boy.
Okay.
And she shoots the husband and the lady in front of the little boy, and then she points the gun at the little boy. The little boy says, "But I'm just a kid." Then she shoots him. We did a whole we watched that movie because you sent me that.
Oh,
and
man.
We did a whole podcast on that. That's actually a 2-part movie, and we did a podcast on that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Dang,
it's hilarious. So thanks.
I saw one recently where a man, she's like, "Get me a grape soda out the fridge," and then this dude grabs a bottle of water. It's clearly a bottle of water in his hand, and then he walks out and walks to her, and then it turns into a grape soda. I'm like, this man, Jesus. This man is Jesus.
So it wasn't just bad editing. He was actually playing Jesus.
I don't know if it was Jesus, but he turned water into grape soda. I mean,
Yeah,
How? I don't
I've seen
know.
people change clothes in the blink of an eye. I've seen hats disappear and reappear. It's some strange things that be going on in these movies, man.
Have you seen the ones where it literally changes person? Like they, for whatever reason, the actor just stopped acting and it turns into a
Just said
whole
fuck
other
it.
actor.
They got somebody else.
They're like, man, forget this. Tyrone, you coming?
Yeah,
All right, come on.
yeah. I've seen
So
stuntmen change race. I've seen all kinds of stuff.
change
Yeah,
race
you'd be
mid
surprised
scene.
what gets away. Yeah, in these movies, man.
I mean, hey, if you got the budget to do it, I mean, hey, who am I to
I
judge?
think
I
a
ain't got
lot of
no
that
movie.
happens because they don't have the budget.
Hey, or you know what? I was talking with somebody yesterday on one of the episodes, and and he was saying we were talking about how creatives just don't care anymore. It literally just don't care. Like it's just
Yeah,
the way the world is made. Creativity. It's like we just need to pump out content super fast, and then it's like,
yeah.
eh.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch. I was about to say it is because there are so many content creators now, and content can be anything from a podcast. You write movies, you put out music, whatever it is you do that you're putting on social media or on online or whatever. It's so everybody's doing.
Right.
So people are trying to get ahead of everybody else and just putting shit out. And it's not really going through a whole lot of quality control, if any quality control. It's just being put out.
I think
So
it just
you
depends
get
on
what you
the
get.
yeah. I think it just depends on the type of creator because you look at somebody like
Mm-hmm.
Marquise Brownlee, the YouTuber. His content is
Mm.
well, he does all the tech reviews. His content is it's
It's on
immaculate.
point.
But he has a whole
Mm-hmm.
team to do that. So obviously,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got a whole team, and then he's focusing on one specific direction in what he talks about.
mm-hmm. Yep,
So he's able to refine how he does all this. Yep.
that's true. But then you have like your
Yep.
independent random creators, and you're just like,
Yeah.
uh, uh.
Yeah, the random content, the attention seekers, so I like to call them.
There you go. They're doing
But
what Austin Kleon said. They're stealing like an artist.
yeah.
That's the move. I don't know. But
Yeah,
bro, I'm
Justin
super.
Boo is real upset about that.
Who's that? Who's Justin Bua?
Justin, can you see that sculpture that I'm pointing
I
at right there?
can. I can see it.
He's an artist. That sculpture is based off a painting that he did. He's the painter who did. You've seen his stuff like growing up, like throughout like the '90s and stuff. Like he'll have like, you remember they used to sell the poster. They would sell the poster, I think, at like Walmart. It'd be like a graffiti looking image of somebody breakdancing, or there's
Okay.
one of a guy playing the piano. There's
Okay.
another of a DJ with his headphones like this. You remember that the characters were all like contorted
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah. Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
graffiti looking.
Yeah.
That's Justin Bua. He's an artist from New York. He's of I guess a generation older than us, but he's real upset with how this art is being put out right now. Like
Why?
how
Why? Per?
how lazy creatives are being right now. Like
Oh
he'll put
well.
a
Yeah.
post about like just the way people create art now. Just
I'm gonna have to give him a
like this lady
follow.
was like in a swing. She had a piece of paper on the ground and she was in a swing, and like her butt was dipped in paint or something, and she was swinging, her butt would brush across the paper, and like, get the fuck out of here.
Hey,
And people were
yo,
like gathered around like looking like, get the fuck out of
man,
here.
there's a couple of artists who do like that swing style where they pour all the paint into like a bucket and then just kind of like launch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and then they
Use
swirl the
gravity.
bucket around. Yeah.
Like some of that stuff is super dope, but I feel me
Some of
personally,
that
I
stuff
feel
come
there's
out looking like is
some
it's
of it
kind of
is
like
really dope.
anybody could do that.
That's true. Anybody can, but you know, it's about marketing
It's
and who did it
interesting.
first. And
It's just not necessarily creative.
uh, Well, I mean, I guess the way that you mix the paints
Is
in.
the idea to do that creative?
I mean, I don't know if you played with those as a child, the little gyroscope things. That's like
Hmm.
immediately where I go to. I'm like, okay, yeah,
It's
you're
like a
just
big version of that.
yeah. So if you did that as a kid,
Right.
like no, like you're just using someone else's imagination and invention to do something creative. Like, but
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the mixing of the
Hmm.
paint colors and I don't know.
Right. If you
Yeah.
if you're aiming for something and then use that technique to try to achieve with the idea, then okay, I could see that being creative.
There's a really, really, really dope artist. So what he does is he actually puts all the paint like layered in a
Hmm.
dust sweeping pan and then kind of
Hmm.
feathers it on the painting. So he paints everything and then he kind of feathers it on the painting.
Hmm.
Oh, I'll have to send it to you. It's super dope. I don't know his
So he
name
uses
though.
it as a technique to paint
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay.
that it's not like pushing. So he actually paints like he actually blends the paint colors and everything, and then at the very end,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he'll like even like I think one was
He's
like a
got
paper
approach. He
airplane.
knows what he's doing.
Yep, and he
That's
just kind
cool.
of feathers it in. It's so dope. His paintings are stupid
Yeah.
expensive, but very dope though.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Dope
but
shit.
dope. Dopest is dope. But bro, I am super glad that you're here and that you joined us here in the Creative Mind. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about you. Like I want the world to get to know you, 730. I know you and I know your journey, but like how did you from even from childhood, how did you get associated with music?
So I've always been associated with music. Just it runs in my family. It's genetic. I would that would be the first place I would say it's genetic. It's in my family. We're all uh like my immediate family and like grandparents, aunts, uncles grew up going to church, singing in church, and my dad's he still is the choir director for the church that he's at now. The church we grew up at, the church that I grew up at, he played piano the whole time and did the choir rehearsal, and he was. That's how I learned about the different the alto, tenor, and all the different parts. You know, being in choir rehearsal. If you at my wife makes fun of my family because we're like that family on the Wiz at the
Yeah.
beginning, like when they all gathered around the table singing and shit. Like that's literally my family. Like and like everybody in the room singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like or playing, my dad would start playing the piano up front and everybody's gathered around with singing. It's just really warm singing, southern,
The
So
holidays
that's
must
where
be
it started.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to next week. We're going to my mom's house. And we're gonna
Nice.
do it, do it there too. But like my focus hadn't always been music though, because I've always been really shy when I was growing up. I was very shy. I was too shy to sing or perform musically in front of people. Until I was about maybe in middle school, I wanted to be cool and rap, so I started, writing raps, to try to be cool, and then I would do it for the play. A lot of my exposure was in church at first because that's where I grew
Really.
up. You know what I mean? So yeah, so
Now
a lot
I
of people
haven't
may not believe that now, but yeah,
I heard this the thing the other day. Mike Todd, he's the lead pastor at Transformation Church. He said that
mm.
musicians and basically most artists typically started in church, and then
Yeah,
because
church
church
is a
didn't
great place. Hmm.
oh yeah, he
They
said
don't
because church
church.
didn't accept them. Um, he did church doesn't accept their creative gifts, so they actually jump outside of the church to go do
Hmm.
whatever their gifting
Hmm.
and their talent is, whether it's rapping or photography or whatever.
Hmm.
The church basically blackballs them and then they go outside, and then that's how they find success. And then, and he was trying to equate saying like,
Well,
I'm go ahead.
I could see that being the case for a lot of people, especially with rap. Um, the church not necessarily accepting what your true gift is,
Mm-hmm.
but it that I can't necessarily say that that's my experience though. Um,
Really?
the church I went to, um, Voice of Calvary Fellowship, um, it was a non-denominational church. It was very like we weren't Baptist, Methodist, any Pentecostal, whatever, anything like that. And so we had people from all around the world at our church, um,
Wow.
and different like walks of life. And so now that you mentioned that, it's dawning on me that that wasn't my experience.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
and yeah, and I was actually encouraged a lot to do my talents at church, whether it was art, whether it was cuz uh whether it was rapping. I was welcome to rap on several different occasions at church. It had to
Nice.
be appropriate, for church, but I was encouraged to rap, um and act. I was encouraged to act. I acted in some stuff. I starred in one of the Christmas plays, but but they were original play. Like we had like original like concepts and scripts and stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, now that you mentioned that, that's why I got excited just then, because it's like it's that actually that is what's expected most of the time. Like the church wouldn't like accept, especially with rap. And then with some art, art pushes the
it
envelope
pushes the
sometimes,
bounds.
you know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Like and cuz I remember I had some visual art during college that made a couple of my church members uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I get it. Yeah. But for me personally, what made me reach outside the church after a while was when I got out on my own and just decided I was gonna it was more of a decision to say, okay, like if I approach this that's outside of the church in my own way, what's that gonna sound like and feel like? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, it hasn't all music hasn't always been my focus. It was art for a long time. That was my major in school, was visual art. I was painting and stuff. Like I was always in the studio painting and whatever. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
snapping at this cat who is biting at my bass uh strings. And so but you know, after like during early college is when I got serious about music, but I was also very serious about art too. So it was painting, but that after a while I found a way to put the two together. Like how can both things meet in the middle? You know what I mean?
For sure. I like it. Do you still paint?
I started back drawing. I haven't painted in a long time, but I would like to start back painting. I've got some paints and a couple small canvases to just get back in it. Because it's kind of ebb and flow. It's like when I was very serious about painting, I had made my first album, but I was a student. That was my job. You know what I'm saying? I was either in school or working on music, or
Yeah.
I ain't had a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So, but after a while, when I got really into the music, the art kind of tapered off, and so now it's like this weird flow where it's like, okay, well, I may be visually creative right now to go along with the music. And so, yeah, I started back drawing and stuff.
Oh,
But even
whenever
my
you make
drawing style has changed since then.
really,
Mm-hmm.
man, whenever
Very
you make
interesting.
a print or whatever, I want one. Whatever it is, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Bet.
Whatever it costs.
Bet.
We know we got to support
Yeah, I got
family.
I got the ideas. Yeah, word, man.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I just been very inspired in both visually and musically lately. And I'm thankful for that.
So now I'm curious because how does your creativity ebb and flow? Because for some people, like I can speak for myself, creativity comes like
Mm-hmm.
when I see something, but and then it gets stuck in my head, and until I execute on what I see
Mm.
or what my mind sees, then I'm like, okay. But outside of
Like
that,
it's gonna bother you until you get it done?
absolutely.
Mm. I'm like that with stuff. I'm very much like that. The only thing is, I'm focused on getting answers for this, but I strongly believe I have ADHD because even though I'm like that, I'm like a idea machine in a way that don't mean I execute every idea. I just have a bunch of fucking crazy ideas,
Yeah.
and then I have so many ideas that I don't lock in on what, like it's kind of like you walk in a room with a bunch of stuff in it, you don't know where to start, and pretty much nothing gets completed. It's just all these
Right.
ideas. I
Yeah.
struggle with that, and so when I say I've been inspired lately, like I've been inspired to complete the project that's kind of been piecing itself together over the past few years,
Okay.
amongst all that random thoughts,
Yeah.
uh, and so now I'm finally at a point to where like I could get excited because I see, and I had to write it down. I wrote down, my playlist and just getting back focused and stuff. But it is one of those things that's been bothering me until I get it done. But it's just been bothering me for several years. um, but yeah.
How do you go about getting your inspiration? Like, because like you said, you have this weird ebb and flow between create
Hmm.
like visual creative and music. Like, what's that
Hmm.
look like in your mind? And maybe I mean maybe it'll help somebody else think of it who hasn't actually thought of it and translate it to them.
The ebb and flow between
Yeah.
music and art.
Yeah.
Um, when I get overwhelmed with all the thinking and all the thoughts and all the ideas surrounding music and all the sometimes I feel unaccomplished, sometimes I feel inadequate when it comes to musically, and when I'm feeling like that, it's very hard to be musically creative because I'm just beating myself over the head.
Sure.
And nobody's told me this stuff. This is all just stuff that I tell myself. Like this is
Mm.
all just intrusive
Mm.
thoughts that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever given me the idea that I should feel this way, right? So if I'm not being very musically creative, I'm still a very creative person all the time. And
Hmm.
so it has to come out in some kind of way. So if I'm not writing a song, I may be drawing in my notebook, you know.
Yeah.
I may be I didn't give him a thumbs up. Um did you see that?
I did.
Um but during that time it has to come out. So even if the idea doesn't come out in words, I am a visual person and I'm a audio person. So the two go together for me. So when I hear music, I see stuff, you know,
Mm,
or when I see a piece of art, I hear music.
really?
Like that's how my mind works, right?
Like, what do you
And so
see?
when I hear a song that I like, it's different phases. When I hear a song or a sound that I like, I can see the sound.
Really?
Um, yeah. And colors have sounds, just like sounds have colors. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I don't know, I just see it. I see the wave. I see the pattern. I see whatever it is that this sound wave just made. I can see it. Like sound
Mm,
is like object. Sound is like liquid that you can't see, or it's like you can't see air either, but it's like air that you don't breathe. You hear it, but you don't feel it, or I mean you don't breathe it
mm.
like air.
Okay.
But it is a sound is a thing that's moving about the room all the
Right.
time and bouncing off stuff. And so I see the wave like
Like, do you physically see it with your eyes?
in my mind's eye.
Okay.
Um Sometimes I see it with my eyes, and maybe all this is linked to some psychedelic experiences. But that just don't go away. Um but sometimes like you could crack a door open. You know how you could tell the difference between when a door is cracked and when it's completely shut.
Right.
The sound that's coming from the other side is because it's leaking through at all times. Like it's like water trying to get. As soon as you open the door, the water's gonna rush in. The
Exactly.
sound behaves the same way. Um, and so when I'm excited, if I hear a song that doesn't have a video yet, my mind is already playing a whole video for it.
Mm,
This is what I mean when I say I have ideas that they just keep coming, because I have a video idea for every one of these songs, but I know I
really?
can't with my own pockets. I can't afford to do the videos on the scale that I see them in my mind. You know what I mean?
Not yet, at
Uh,
least.
Not yet. Yeah, we'll say not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
But yeah, I see a video for all of these. So a lot of times I'm scaling my ideas back, my visual ideas, scaling them back to a realistic way. Um,
But but what if you're not meant to scale it back?
well, if you're not meant to scale it back, then you do as you can in the best of your ability, and then there's no telling how it's gonna explode. That's how Heaven's Computer came about. Heaven's
Really?
Computer ended up being much bigger than I even planned on it. Uh, than I anticipated it being. Heaven's Computer, uh, I recorded that whole album at my house, and
Mm,
I had Eric L, the producer I was working with from Sweden. I sent it to him, and he did the mastering on it. Sent it
okay.
back. I had a really good friend. I have a really good friend, Ken Patterson, who's a dope ass artist, vis- uh, digital painter,
Hmm.
and I have some good friends who are photographers. I think Charles Bryce took the front cover picture of that, which it was just a picture that he took. It wasn't necessarily with the purposes
Yeah.
of it being an album cover. But the
Right.
point being is that I just had all these people that I knew help me put this project together, and I was gonna just swipe my credit card and put the album out on Bandcamp, and just gonna be what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up getting signed off of that album, and they ended up getting it. Mellow Music Group at the time was they ended up getting it in front of a way bigger audience, and I was able to do a couple videos. It just ended up. Spin Magazine ended up doing like a whole debut of the album.
Wow.
Like the Spin Mag website, they had a whole write up about the album, and then the whole playlist where you can listen to it. Like I think it was like the day before it dropped or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So to your point, sometimes you're not meant to scale it back. You just do it the best as you can,
Yeah.
and there's no telling how much bigger it's going to be. But sometimes scaling it back actually causes you to get more creative. Because you have to figure out, how am I going to do a dope ass visual to this idea with a very limited budget? Become very creative when you have to do it on a limited budget.
That's true. That's how this podcast started.
So yeah,
Very limited
yeah,
budget. Limited.
yeah. That's how a lot of stuff around Mississippi works.
Really?
You have to be. But I know some of the most creative people I've ever met are in Mississippi right now,
Really?
because when you're dealing with like the city of Jackson, or you're dealing with state of Mississippi, you're oftentimes dealing with a very limited budget, and so you got to get mad creative with the idea, and it's some creative motherfuckers around here.
I'm gonna have to come
So
visit. I'm gonna have to come visit, see what's
yeah,
going
man.
on down there in Jack.
Yeah, man.
Man. So what year was Heaven's Computer?
That was 2012.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we were
Yep.
we were we were working together at that point. Okay.
Yeah. We were working together by then when that came
Okay.
out.
I remember when it came out. I remember one of the first times I ever shot photos of you. It was at it was that you did a live
Oh yeah.
performance. Dos Capone
Over
was
on Lower
there.
Greenville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Doe.
There was somebody else.
Yeah. That was on Lower Greenville. Dosa Capone was there. Shit. Uh, a couple Modalis folks was there, and then was that the show where Odyssey was there?
I think so.
I think that was the Odyssey show. Yeah.
It was really good, man. That was the first time I had actually like been able to hear the music live. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like this
Yeah.
is a vibe.
Appreciate
Like,
it.
this is a move right here.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
would have been Doe and Odyssey, because they kinfolk.
okay.
Okay.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. They do look very similar. I
Well,
didn't know
they
actually
they
kinfolk.
they they not related, but
Oh.
Doe is cousins with one of the cats from Diamond District who was in the group with Odyssey. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I ain't know that. I thought they was family, but you know how black
Mhm.
folks do. Everybody family.
Mhm.
That's just how it is. So what's been the journey like since? So you had Heaven's Computer, then you had a couple albums
Mhm.
after that. What's been that journey since? I mean, are you still signed or?
Yeah. So before Heaven's Computer, I had an album. 2007. I had a couple projects. It was 2007. I did Star, the 730 Experience. That was my first record, and then we did Late Night Sessions, which was like a mixtape featuring a bunch of Jackson rappers, people from like Sweden and uh like the Netherlands, and like it was like a
Oh, that's
very
dope.
internationally, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I did a whole EP with Eric L. That was the first project I did with Eric
Okay.
from Sweden. It was called Rhyme Traveling, and it's very artsy, retro futuristic funk
Yeah.
is the best way I can describe that. I'll send you links to all this stuff too.
All right, bet.
And then Heaven's Computer, which was Mellow Music Group, and then the next project, I had a 2 album with Mellow Music Group. So the second album was The Problem with Ginsu Dean.
The best.
And man, appreciate it. That's what me and Tori, and like so far I feel like that's my best work.
Okay.
Um it started out as a 4-song EP that I was going to produce myself, and it was just going to be called The Problem. That was just the name of it.
Yeah.
I was just going to rap on my own beats. At the time, we was hanging out with Ginsu Dean so hard, and his wife, like we're all like family, like you said, you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
Tori, my wife, was like, you ought to get Dean to produce the whole record. Y'all do a whole album. Why don't the problem? You could do the problem like that. I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Now I pitched it to Dean, and he was so excited, and we did the album,
Yeah.
and one song at a time, so I wouldn't get distracted because, like I said, I get distracted. Um, and so we did it, and that was my second mellow project. So the stuff I'm working on now is Vintage Noise, which is just my own.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hard pivot though. The stuff I'm working on now, it's like a hard pivot.
What do you mean?
Sonically,
Okay.
because I'm producing everything. It's just gonna sonically sound different. Like, yeah, I'm doing everything on it, so
I like it.
that's what I'm excited about.
How does that journey feel just as a creative to be signed, hit the highs with Spin, then come down, and then you go back up when you do the problem. You're rapping with Sean Price. You got a video that's like bopping everywhere.
Rest in peace, Sean Price.
Rest in peace, the great Sean Price. And then then life is kind of taking some twists and turns.
Lifing.
And that life be lifing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
you're back down, and you're kind of uninspired to even do anything.
Just in the grind.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Life as an artist, man. Like, and even since then, like, there's a lot of self-reflection, even some grief that happens with your life just going through various changes like that.
Yeah.
And then couple that with, I feel like everybody lost people during that time. But speaking for myself, like, I lost a lot of very close people since then too. And
since the pandemic.
It was like grief after grief since 2015, since the year after the problem. I feel like I've lost like so many just close people. And so like in my circle, in my personal circle, like I don't, I'm not a person who got like, I don't feel like I got a whole bunch of friends. Like, I have like few people,
Sure.
And so we had a circle of friends. It was 6 of us. It was 3 couples, and man, two of the women in that circle are not here anymore.
Damn.
And so what that does is it just dismantles a lot of things and causes you to have to just, it's a lot of grief that comes with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then other losses and just life, and like find yourself. I remember when I first switched my day job, I had to commute for the first time, and I got so depressed about that
Really?
shit. I hated that shit. And the shift that I was working, when people ask, "Hey, what brings you back to Mississippi?" Like, when you think about all that shit, and then the pandemic happens.
Yep.
And so with the pandemic, then you lose even more people, and it just didn't help an introvert who was already introverted not be any less introverted. You know what I mean?
True. That's very true.
Um, and so, like with the whole lockdown shit, I was so cool with that shit. I was so cool with that shit. I get to work from home. I ain't gotta be around folk. Like shit, I get to just kind of be in my own world right now, which
Yeah.
is great. But we had the neighbor from hell upstairs above us in our apartment in Dallas. We ended up moving. It was just so crazy, just so many stressors and things, and we just happened to strike at the right time to be able to come back to Mississippi and get some much needed quiet and peace of mind, um, and family time. Like I get to see my family a lot more,
Yeah. For sure.
my side of the family. So you know, and then her youngest sister moved back, and she's got 3 kids, and so we
Okay.
get to see our niece and nephews grow up. And so you know, it's
Nice.
been much needed, and now I can gather my thoughts and get my shit together. You know,
For
so
sure.
that's the
I
whole
feel
ebb and flow. Like,
yeah, I feel like living in Mississippi, you would have a I don't want to be disrespectful to those who live in Mississippi, but I feel like I mean, we've talked about it before, but like a slow living life. Like
it
I
is. I
aspire.
mean, yeah, that's why people come to Mississippi because they want a slower pace. Um, I'm not exactly certain that this is the final stop, but it's what I need, what we need right now for
Right.
absolutely for me to be able to hear myself think and write. Um, I've been able, like I said, to gather thoughts and I'm doing other idea. Actually writing and executing other ideas down the line that I'm kind of trying to prepare myself for, like being a creative in my 50s.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that, as to where this stuff is going to lead. So I've been writing scripts and stuff like that. So
Really. So you
yeah.
turn in full on writer.
hmm hmm Writing for me is the most therapeutic thing to do.
Really.
hmm Writing and like playing bass.
I'm with you. You already know I'm a bass player too, so dude, mine's in the
hmm
corner when I hear
Wait,
something or
you're
I'm just
a
like,
bass player?
"You didn't know this?" I thought we've
I
talked
don't
about
think
this
I knew
before.
that, Byron.
Yeah, dude, I
Wait a
played
minute
bass
now.
for hold on, how old am I? I've played bass since
Man, I need to be
2003.
talking to you. Are you crazy? I need to be talking to you.
Yeah, bro.
I'm for real, bro. We
Yeah,
need to get on Riverside sometime and do some bass lesson because you know how it is when you're playing and when you're self taught, you reach
hmm
a plateau.
yeah.
That's where I am. I feel like I'm all right, but now I need to hear you play.
Now, so
Fool.
let me let me tell you my story. I guess I'll tell it for everybody too. Um, so I started playing bass in 2003. So I've been playing 21 years. But
What?
four, yeah, but
That fool been
14 of
playing
those,
for 21 years?
yeah. But you gotta like. There's a chunk of it where I didn't play. There's 14 years in there where I didn't play
I know
because
what you mean because I've been playing for. If you put it all together, I've been playing bass off and on since I was. I'm 42. I've been
hmm,
playing bass off and on since I was about 17, something like
okay,
17, 18, 19. Off and fucking on though.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
And then, you know, there's periods of time where I'm consistently practicing, but that'd be more like a year at a time, whatever, or 6 months, a year at a time, some shit. But seriously approaching bass, you could say since 2018.
Okay.
but even that got some off and on with it. You see what I mean?
For sure.
So
For sure.
how many years is that?
I mean, that's at least 20. You said since 1842. What is that? 24 years?
Yeah, 1842.
Hey, man, I'm trying to do quick mental math. Hopefully, I wasn't wrong. I think
I
I'm
thought
right.
you said I've been playing bass since 1842.
You wasn't even afraid, my nigga. Get out there and play bass, nigga.
Like I'm gonna play that bass.
I'm gonna play
for
the
my
upright.
freedom.
I got you there, master. Let me play that bass there, master.
Oh shit.
Nah, but dude,
Oh
for
man.
real, I never thought that I would ever pick up a bass again, because my church that I used to go to, I had my daughter, my oldest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kicked me out of the band. But I had played in the band for, at that point, 5 years. So I never thought I was gonna pick. Cause I told myself and I told God, I was like, man, I'll never touch one.
Wait, you played what in the band? You played bass in the band?
Yeah, yep.
In high
I
school?
played. No, I played. This is at my church, but I was in high school though.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the church band. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I played in my church band for 5-6 years. Then they kicked me out.
So what you playing? That's the best place to learn how to play bass though.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother Ethan
Is
Kent.
church.
Yep. He's the one who taught me. Like, he was a piano player. Dude, he's a musical prodigy, but he taught me everything about playing bass. And
That's
even
awesome, dude.
when I picked it back up in 2023, yeah, 2023.
Now I'm like, man, I'm gonna send you some shit, bro. I'm gonna send you some shit I've been working on, so you can hear
dude,
it.
let's do it.
I've been playing.
Yeah, when I picked.
All right, so wait, so you grew up in Dallas?
Yep. Born and raised. This is home.
So you grew up playing bass in church in Dallas. I bet you can play.
Mind you, I used to play. We used to play a bunch of gospel music, but now
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, now you let me just hear something, like I'll play it. Now I play it. I play at the church that I go to now too. So I play at Social Dallas sometimes, not often. I do more photography over there, but yeah, man.
But you were playing that gospel though, like that.
We was hitting them runs like
yes. All right, check it out. I just did, bro. I'm gonna send you some shit. Once we get out of here, I'm gonna send you some. That's is basic. Like that's the root of all the funk, and that's I'm like I've been listening to nothing. This is what I've been listening to lately: P Funk, Sly Stone, who else? Betty Davis, Miles Davis, Eddie Hazel, who is basically P Funk, Boosie Collins, any of that type of stuff like that. Some stuff off of like the Stax records I've been listening to, like Willie Hutch and shit like that. But like all that stuff, like when you go to the Stax Museum in Memphis, the first thing you walk into, the first exhibit you walk into, it looks like an old church, because that's where all that shit started.
Dude, that's what we were talking about in the beginning.
It looks like you walk in an old Southern church, and that's what I'm saying. It brings the whole shit back. It always comes back to the church.
Yeah, that's where some of the greatest musicians just started. It's where some of the greatest musicians are still today.
Even Lil Richard, you know what I mean? Like, started out singing in church.
Yeah,
his stuff was inappropriate for church, so he just had to, find another direction to go. Hey, but it worked out for him. You know what I'm saying? So,
Tutti Frutti, Rudy.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. I'm grateful. So my same music friend who taught me how to play the bass, the reason why I picked it back up was I went to Guitar Center one day because the Holy Spirit kind of was like, after church was like, hey, go. So I went.
Go to Guitar Center.
Yeah. And so I was going to my mom's house anyway. So I go and I'm just in there just looking. And I was like, Lord, if you really want this to happen, you have to make it just unbelievably undeniable that I'm
Easy.
supposed to play.
Right.
Yeah, that I'm just show me
Right.
something that I'm supposed to play again. About 10 minutes later, the same guy who taught me, Ethan, he walks in the door, and I was like, "Oh, okay, done, done
Yep, that's how it be.
playing it." So then I bought a
So
bass
did
that
you
day.
still have a bass at the time? Oh, okay, okay,
Nope,
yeah.
dude. I sold. Dude. When I tell you, I got rid of everything. I still remembered how to play, but I got rid of
Hmm.
everything because I didn't want any reminder
Wait,
of
so
it.
what bass you got? You got a bass in there right now?
Not in this room. It's in another room. Actually,
Oh,
you know
okay.
what? A friend of mine, a friend of mine from my church, because I lead a connect group there, but she lives in North Carolina. She actually gave me a 1970. Her dad's
What?
bass is from 1970. It's a
What
dude.
kind of
It's a
bass is it?
jazz. It's a
Is it a jazz
diamond.
bass?
Yep, it's a diamond something or other jazz bass. It's super dope.
I
It's
love
like,
jazz basses.
dude, it's got patina and everything. I'm so grateful to have it.
So
Ah,
this is mine. This is a P bass.
yeah.
It's an active P bass, so it's uh but I got what I did with this was this neck. This is a jazz neck.
Okay.
So I really wanted, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers has his own bass
Yeah.
uh from his own line of basses with Fender, and
Mm-hmm.
I played around with the pink one that he had a few years ago. I was like,
Okay.
damn, I love this bass, but it was just too much for me at the time,
Yeah.
and I just needed a bass, but I also like the fat sound of the P bass,
Mm-hmm.
which is what like Motown used a lot, and like a lot of the
Yep.
'70s music has P bass in it. Um, but I like the neck on the jazz bass though,
Oh
that
yeah.
slim neck
Yep.
for my hands too. And so I basically took the neck off, sold my P bass neck, and bought a jazz neck and had them put it on. Sam Ash out in Dallas,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
which was my favorite. I do miss Sam Ash. We don't got Sam Ash out here. I miss that
Dude, Sam
particular
Ash.
store, Dallas 75.
Yep.
I
70. What
used
is it?
to they used
75
to
and
know me
Royal.
in there. Yeah, yeah, they used to know me in there.
That's how you know. That is
Yeah,
how you
and I go
know.
in there. Yeah, like talking about getting a sign is like I would go in there and just meet people and learn stuff on the
Yeah.
fly. Like, and I don't, I'm not social like that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
very comfortable being with those kind of people because a lot of musicians are like that.
Yeah. It's
So,
something about when creatives get around other creatives. If you're introverted, extroverted, you just kind of like mind meld, and you're just kind of like, all right, cool.
right,
These are my people. I
right.
don't know you. I've never met you before, but you my people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was two
Yeah.
brothers that came in there who just showed me very simple trick with guitar. I picked up guitar in 2018, and everything you hear on this new project is me playing guitar and bass and stuff.
Really.
Yeah, I'm playing everything. But they taught me like cuz I was picking the string like going down every time like that.
Mm.
But they were like,
Yeah.
no, alternate and go up and down when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Like, okay. And taught me what like where to put my hand on the guitar. And so
Hmm.
like um just little stuff like that. And the most recent bit of inspiration that I got was we went to the Andre 3000 concert in New Mexico, which was our second time seeing him. Shout
Yeah.
out to Three Stacks. It was our second time seeing him live, but every show was different. But this time we got to do the pre-show Q&A,
Hmm.
and so he came out. It's just he just real down to earth. He just comes out, uh, and you just ask him questions.
Yep.
And my question was the first one, and my question to him was talking about how we were talking about earlier. My specific question was, I am an artist who is very much a perfectionist. Um, Being an artist who I would think is a perfectionist, how do you get over the idea of perfectionism and decide when a product or when a project is finished
Ooh,
and ready to be released? And the
yeah.
first thing he said was getting other people involved,
Mm,
you know? And so all these projects that we've been talking about only got done because other people were involved in it, and the right people were involved in
right.
it. And I wrote it down. I wrote down this is his drawing, uh, and this is some things he said to me. And involve other people, share the idea, um, write daily. He writes every day, and it don't gotta be just the hottest bars in the world, hot 16 every day. It's just write something. How do you feel?
Yeah,
Write it.
for sure.
Draw something.
Yeah.
Journal. uh don't overthink the work. I was telling him, I have a tendency to overthink stuff, and he was like, when you do have other people involved, you get to be more, everybody just wants to see it get done, and so that
Hmm.
energy drives the project to completion. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah,
you don't really get a chance to overthink because the moment has passed. Like,
for sure.
uh you don't get a chance to overthink to perfection. It's like, especially with like what somebody like if you like what he's doing now is just very improv anyway, so you don't really have time to think about the last note you just hit. You just playing, you know.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you, he's like, I don't know what I'm playing. I'm just comfortable playing the instrument. He's like, I can't tell you what note, what scale, what chord. I don't know none of that terminology. I'm self-taught. I just know I relate to this instrument. It speaks to me, and I
Hmm.
just allow it to speak through me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I want to get to that point with bass and guitar playing. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah. That's a vibe right there,
which
though.
is,
That's some
yeah, yeah.
bars.
Shout out, yeah, shout out Three Stacks.
I want it to live through me and just come out of me. That's a
Mm-hmm.
bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you find an instrument that speaks to you. That's what happened to you that day in the
Yeah.
Guitar Center. You know.
And it's not and it doesn't even have to be an instrument for people who are, painters or photographers,
Well, that
videographers,
is your
even,
instrument. The paintbrush
yeah.
is your instrument.
Hmm.
You know,
Writers,
a
script
instrument,
writers. Yeah.
right? A instrument doesn't have to be musical. An instrument is a tool in which you use to get your art out. It could be a
Man.
microphone. It could be a paintbrush. It could be a podcast. It could be a camera lens. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's your instrument. Which photography, I'm very drawn to photography too. Studied that in college, and saying things with images is very powerful too.
One of my big issues with the way the world is now, we have such a short attention span and it's so forgettable because now
Mm,
everything is video or reels or whatever, like, oh, we have these 15 to 30-second consumable bites of video content. But my thing is like,
right.
there's nothing that beats a photo. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because photos
Yeah.
tell
A really good
stories that,
photo.
yeah, nothing. A photo tells a story that a video can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why, shout out to my the guy who taught me everything I know about photography. He hates when I call him my mentor, but he is. Shout out to Eric Williams. Um yeah, that dude out in LA, he taught me everything. So the artist and the
Mm-hmm.
photographer that I am is all because he helped literally walk side by side beside me and taught me everything, from making
Yeah.
introductions, how to greet, how to just handle talent, how to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
like what goes into
Mm-hmm.
making a photo look amazing, printing, working with
Did you ever
advertisers,
do
like,
did you ever do film?
I have a
Like
film camera.
processing?
I've never processed film myself. I just don't have one. I don't have a place to do it. I would love to
Yeah,
learn.
right. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to
So I
learn how to
feel
do it.
like, yeah, I feel like my wife and I were the last generation of students to actually have hands-on learning with that shit. Because right at the
Yeah.
time that we were learning it, digital was completely taken over, digital and
Mm-hmm.
Photoshop. And so we was hard headed and was like, fuck that, man. We doing the old school way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we knew Photoshop and digital too, though. You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
we
I mean,
knew
you have
all that
to.
shit. But there's nothing like taking a film photo on a film camera and knowing how to set your aperture and all that
Mm-hmm.
shit and doing it and going in a dark room and processing your film for the first time. You can't see anything. You just have
Yep.
to feel it. And you
Yep.
just you take the film out of the thing you put. I would do it in the dark but still have my eyes closed because for some reason when I got my eyes closed, I know what I'm doing. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. I mean.
Uh and and you learn how to load it up, you shake it the chemical stuff and then you
Mm-hmm.
sit it in there and then you rinse it off and all that stuff. And then you get to do the cool part that you see in the movies where you're in the dark lab and you're actually like exposing a piece of photo paper with your image. And
Mm-hmm.
I got creative with that shit. I had an old school, everybody else was using this projector to expose the image. They were using a projector that was like from, I guess, like the 90s. At the time it would have been like from the 90s or so. And it's
Okay.
your typical projector that you would
Yeah.
see. The projector I was using, my photo professor, shout out to Chris Gauthier, he introduced me to this really old, did he have it? I don't know where he got that thing. It was from like the 60s, or like it was
Oh
really
wow.
old, clunky
Yeah.
green. You know that 60s green,
Yeah.
that some are like the pencil sharpeners with it, like
Mm-hmm.
that that sea green.
Yeah.
It was
Like
that
seafoam
color. It was
green.
real
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was real chunky looking. And it didn't have a viewfinder in it. I had to make a viewfinder.
Mm.
So instead of cutting out a really sharp edge on mine, I took these like this like some scissor something. I did like a really jagged edge on mine.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I exposed it, you could always tell my work from the other students' work because all mine had the jagged edge, and you could see the little film strip edges and stuff. That shit was
Yeah.
fucking cool looking. I still
That's
got
dope.
photos. I still got those photos.
Really? That's super
Um,
dope, man.
yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about picking up a Polaroid again.
Do it. I was having a conversation
Yeah.
yesterday with somebody again with somebody. We were talking about film and how that the true masters of photography, Herb Ritz, um, who else? Peter Lindbergh. I mean, all these great
Mm,
people. Like Herb Ritz to me is the greatest of photographer, but all of them masters of actual processing, going through in the darkroom. Because with
mm-hmm.
film, you have to know your shit, and if you don't,
Right. Right.
but nowadays everybody's like, oh, we'll just fix it in post. We'll just, you know,
Yeah.
oh, we'll
And see, the cool
overexpose.
thing about film, right? Film is incredibly ultra. Film is ultra HD.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that. You take a piece of film and you expose. You done got your focus right on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That film for forevermore. Like if you, long as you take care of that film, you can digitize that image and you can blow that shit up. That shit is gonna be so HD.
Oh yeah.
Like like you can. It's multifaceted. You can remain manual or you could transcribe it to digital, but you can't do the opposite. You can't take a digital and make it
Analog. Yeah.
analog. You know what I mean? So
Yep. Can't do it. But that's so dope. I didn't know. I didn't know that you was in.
mm-hmm.
See, I feel like creatives, most creatives either follow. They start off with one passion. It's either they start off painting. Their
Mm-hmm.
painting turns into
Mm-hmm.
writing. That's what happened with my oldest. She started off writing, then to painting. Now she wants to do animation, voiceover acting, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was,
Mm-hmm.
I started off with music, then into photography and videography,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm back at music, but I still do photography. And I mean, with you, you did
Mm-hmm.
painting. I mean, you had your hand in everything.
Yeah.
Man, I, I,
Yep.
I think that's so indicative of just the way. I mean, obviously, we were all created by the most creative creator. Obviously, we talk about God, but like
The creator.
I mean, he's the most creative creator, but all of us have some sort of creativity inside of us. It's just about
Mm-hmm.
finding the moments and ways to bring it out and having like people in
Mm-hmm.
our lives to like pull on us and channel it and say, hey, you're better than this. I
Right,
see
right,
more
right.
from you.
Challenge you to, yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you call that? Accountability partners and stuff.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, it
to get stuff
mentors or
done. That's
whatever.
what happens when you involve people. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that
Mentors, absolutely. Shout out to shout out to David Banner. Um,
David Banner shout out.
David Banner. I remember seeing him go to Stardom. Um, I remember I would see him in the music store a long time ago when I was looking at my first piece of equipment.
Hmm.
And he always had an encouraging word to say, hey, man, yeah, keep it up, man. Like, oh, man, David Banner, we were just listening to Cricket Letters on the way up to the music store.
Yeah.
See him. He was always consistently cool. And I've reached out to him before, like when I was saying I was going through that period of time where I was depressed about my job.
Yeah.
And I called him. We had scheduled a time to call, and like it's like, yeah, so what's going on, man? Like, tell me what's going on. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I'm really feeling down right now. Like, I'm not feeling very happy right now with my
Right.
situation, my creative situation and everything. Like, by the time I get home, I'm too exhausted to work on music and, just all these feelings that I was expressing to him. And he was like, really? He was like, don't feel bad about being a creative with a 9 to 5. And I'm like,
Mm.
you David Banner, what you mean? He was like, trust me, when I say you need to count that as a blessing, that's really a blessing because you don't have to worry about where your income is coming from. You got a steady paycheck, you got insurance,
Hmm.
you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Right.
Um, you got health, dental, and all that already provided for you and all that. And your bread is covered. And therefore you should actually feel free to create as freely as you want to, because your income isn't determined by you having a hot record right now that's trending.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go for what's trending in order to make your check for the day. You already getting your check for the day, so you can be as creative and free as you want to with your music.
Mm.
He
Man.
said that's really a blessing. You need to look at it like that. So people be dropping jewels on me, man. And it's just like, it's some real shit that he said.
Yeah.
So,
And now you dropping them jewels for the people here.
well, there you go. It's full
There you
circle.
go. Hey, I like it, man. I love it actually. Um,
Yep.
man, this has been really, really fun. You got anything you
Yeah,
want to leave
man.
the people with? Any kind of wisdom or knowledge or insight before we just wrap this thing up?
Just be patient with yourself. Um, give yourself a routine. That's been what's been helping me. Make your bed, take a shower. Um,
Every day.
yeah, yeah. Every day, wash your ass.
I heard somebody say the other day that it's like the CDC is like, oh, don't take a shower every day. It's not good for you. You're washing off all the good bacteria. I'm like, man, a white person must have said that. I'm just saying. No, if I don't shower every day, I smell like ass, and then I'm like,
And then that messes with your confidence
Oh
which
yeah.
messes with your productivity because you don't want to. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like the first thing before we got on this podcast, we not even meeting in person, and I took a shower before I got on this podcast
See, and I
just so I could feel confident for the day that I don't smell like ass.
I did the opposite. I'm gonna take a shower after this because I know I'm going out to
Yeah,
start my day.
yeah. See,
Yeah, but a shower will be had.
either way, yeah, it's
Either
getting
way,
done.
it's getting done. Teeth getting done,
Yeah,
brushed, ass getting
yeah.
washed. It's
Put
it's
your
it's a thing.
put yourself on a routine. Um, I mean, I would drop the same knowledge, like express, write, jot down the idea, just so it's not just floating in your head.
Hmm.
Involve other people, the right people. And if you're working 9 to 5 and you're creative, it's not the end of the world that you're not famous or making your living off of doing that creative thing. That could actually free you to be just as creative, as more creative than you ever thought you'd be. So
Yep,
that's
exactly.
what I'm picking up now, and that's actually what I'm experiencing now. So
Man, that's
it's
awesome.
coming to fruition. So yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Thank you for them jewels. If the people want to follow you or listen to your music or I don't know,
Yeah.
support you if they want to, if whenever you start putting out paintings, they want to support you. How do good
Yeah,
people follow
yeah.
you?
The best place to follow me at is Instagram. It's 730. It's spelled with the number 7eventhirty. And it's the same on whatever social media platforms, including X, which I may be deleting. I don't know. But then
You
we
got to
have
shift to threads.
yeah, we got the Threads is dope though.
See,
Threads
that's
is
what
nice.
everybody's saying.
Instagram Threads is
Yeah.
dope. I'm on there already. I'm on there at
Okay.
7:30. Yeah. Yeah.
I got to start
And
using
it's
threads
it's
more.
just like Instagram, but it's like better. I mean, it's just like Twitter, except it's better because it's Instagram. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Um, and then you can. It's the same handle for my music on all the streaming platforms. 7:30. Just look me up. Bandcamp. I'm on Bandcamp. It's Vintage Noise Records. On Bandcamp. Vintage Noise spelt with a Z Records. And then we have a podcast. What we talking about this time? Um, if you're a nerd and you like uh bad movies or even good movies, or you in the TV shows, Marvel, DC, Star Trek, any of that kind of nerd shit, you know. I'm not on every episode, but I'm mainly on the Tubi episodes for sure. Yeah. That's my specialty department is the Tubi. We do
The
Tubi
Tubies.
Tuesdays. So
Oh
they
my
drop on
god.
Tuesdays. We review these Tubi
Tubi
movies.
Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
I
gotta
love
send you
it.
some links. We get out of here.
Yeah. Send me some links and I'll send them out and I'll attach them to the show notes and in the YouTube description of this podcast. And then the people can follow you and find you and listen.
All right.
7:30, my brother, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Peace.